My name is Randy Rath.
Hold on, Randy. There you go.
Get a thing. I'll hold on. Okay. My name is Randy Rathy. I'm from Ekalaka, Montana. And as you can see, I'm a proud NRA member. I believe in our Constitution.
Yeah.
And it's a very important thing. I also get my news from the cable networks because I don't like the spin that comes from them other places.
Oh, you gotta be careful about them cable networks, though. That's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
Max Baucus, our senator, has been locked up in a dark room there for months now, trying to come up with some money to pay for these programs.
Right.
And we keep getting the bull. That's all we get is bull. You can't tell us how you're going to pay for this. You're saving here, you're saving over there, you're going to take a little money here, you're going to take a little money there, but you have no money. The only way you're going to get that money is to raise our taxes. You said you wouldn't. Max Baucus says he doesn't want to put a bill out that will, but that's the only way you can do that.
Well, I'm happy to answer the question.
Okay, thank you.
Look, you are absolutely right that I can't cover another 46 million people for free. You're right. I can't do that. So we're going to have to find some resources. If people who don't have health insurance are going to get some help, then we're going to have to find money from somewhere. Now, what I've identified, and most of the committees have identified and agreed to, including Max Baucus's committee, is that overall this bill will cost, let's say it costs $800 to $900 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's over 10 years, though. All right? So that's about $80 to $90 billion a year. About two-thirds of it, can be obtained by doing some of the things I already mentioned, like eliminating subsidies to insurance companies. So you're right, that's real money. I just think I would rather be giving that money to the young lady here who doesn't have health insurance and giving her some help than giving it to insurance companies that are making record profits. Now, you may disagree. I just think that's a good way to spend our money. But your point's well taken, because even after we eliminate some of the waste and we've gotten those savings from within the healthcare system, that's only two-thirds. That still means we've got to come up with one-third. And that's about $30 billion a year that we've got to come up with. Now, keep in mind the numbers change partly because there are 5 different bills right now. This is all going to get merged in September. But let's assume it costs about $30 billion a year over 10 years. We do have to come up with that money. When I was campaigning, I made a promise that I would not raise your taxes if you made $250,000 a year or less. That's what I said. But I said that for people like myself who make more than that, there's nothing wrong with me paying a little bit more in order to help people who've got a little bit less. That was my commitment. So what I've said is, let's, for example, this is the solution that I originally proposed. Some members in Congress disagree, but we're still working it through. What I've said is we could lower the itemized deductions that I can take on my income tax returns every year, so that instead of me getting 36%, 35% deductions, I'll just get 28%. Like people who make less money than me. If I'm writing a check to my local church, I don't know why Uncle Sam should be giving me a bigger tax break than the person who makes less money than me, because that donation means just as much. If we just did that alone, just that change alone, for people making more than $250,000, that alone would pay for the health care we're talking about. So my point is, number one, two-thirds of the money we can obtain just from eliminating waste and inefficiencies. And the Congressional Budget Office has agreed with that. This is not something I'm just making up. Republicans don't dispute it. And then the other third, we would have to find additional revenue, but it wouldn't come on the backs of the middle class. Now, let me just make one final point. I know that there's some people who say, I don't care how much money somebody makes, they shouldn't have to pay higher taxes. And I respect that opinion. I respect that view. But the truth of the matter is that we've got to get over this notion that somehow we can have something for nothing. Because that's part of how we got into the deficits and the debt that we're in the first place. When the previous administration passed the prescription drug bill, that was something that a lot of seniors needed, right? They needed prescription drug help. The price tag on that was hundreds of billions of dollars. You know how we paid for it? We didn't. It just got added on to the deficit and the debt. So it amuses me sometimes when I hear some of the opponents of health care reform on the other side of the aisle or on these cable shows yelling about how we can't afford this when Max and I are actually proposing to pay for it, and they passed something that they didn't pay for at all and left for future generations to have to pay in terms of debt. That doesn't make sense to me. All right. Can I say this, though? Randy, I appreciate your question, the respectful way you asked it, and by the way, I believe in the Constitution, too. So thank you very much.